1 month ago, she came to me, she apologized, said, "Hey, I don't want a divorce. I'm so sorry. How do we move forward?" A week later, somebody new. Now I want a divorce again, and I'm still fighting.
So first of all, how long have you guys been together total? And then how long have you been married if you're married?
18 years, 16 years married.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment in this day and age by itself, is what I want to say. Do you guys have any kids together?
One child.
Okay, awesome. How old's your child?
16.
16. Okay, awesome. I got a 16-year-old too. So tell me what's going on, where we're at right now.
She stepped out for the first time last July into July, and up and down roller coaster for the last 10 months. And we mutually agreed she moved out in January. And believe it or not, 1 month ago, she came to me, she apologized, said, "Hey, I don't want a divorce. I'm so sorry. How do we move forward?" A week later, somebody new. Now I want a divorce again, and I'm still fighting.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. So she stepped out last July, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, and good for you, man. That's what I wanted to say. First of all, I have a real heart for men who fight for their families and fighting for your relationship, man. You're a warrior, and we got your back, is what I want to say, 100%. So what I'm hearing is last July, that was the first time she stepped out. There was an AP that was there, an affair partner. And then January, there was a separation. And then now a month ago, she says, "I want back into the relationship." Did you guys try at that point?
So for 5 days, it was bliss. It was clear communication. I showed her a lot of your videos. And I'm like, "Hey, I want to be a better person for me, for us, our family." And she was watching them with me. And then that 5th day came. On the 6th day, she was kind of cold. The 7th day, back to real distance. And then about 4 days after that, I learned that dopamine, that whatever it is, she reached out to somebody new. And, here we are roughly 4 weeks later, and we're back to, "I want a divorce. I don't love you anymore." So it's been a roller coaster.
I get that. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, what I'm hearing is that she said yes. I went back in, and I guess you followed me on Instagram or one of the platforms mostly. Yeah. Yep. And then now the question was, okay, how do we shift the relationship? Let's get this and let's make this happen. And she didn't, then just a few days later, she was somebody else. Basically, she found somebody else, and she's been in that relationship, and now divorce is back on the table. I hear it. And
Mark, so this has happened about 7 times over 10-ish months.
Okay.
Except she did have the same affair partner for 7-ish months of that.
Okay, I got it. And now there's now a new partner, somebody new who's in the picture.
No, not anymore. She blocked him now. She
blocked the old affair partner and the new the new guy.
She broke up with the new guy, and that's what kind of got her to, or the old
Let's
guy.
Go.
That's what got her to come back. I kind of feel like it was a rebound conversation in some regard, but I took it as a positive. And then 5 days later, she connected with somebody else, emotionally communication, and then I know she's blocked him. So it's just been this
roller coaster ride. Yeah, it totally. What I can hear, Shawn, is exactly what I'm talking about. Your wife is self-medicating right now. And guys, understand that your partners are self-medicating. Essentially, what they're doing is they're trying to get we all need our happy hormone. We all do, right? We all need to feel good about ourselves. We have to. And so what happens is we try to figure out whatever it is that we need to do to feel good, right? And so what happens is she goes away, she tries to feel good with somebody else because there's a deficiency in your relationship. And then, then she realizes, I don't feel good in that relationship. And then she tries to come back, but then she doesn't feel good here because we're not putting in the right happy hormones. We're not triggering the right happy hormones, which leaves an opportunity for her to go, and there leaves an opening for something else, is the bottom line, is what happened, is what I'm hearing. right? So that's what we call a dose deficiency, guys. Dose stands for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. And those are the happy hormones that actually do move relationships. I'm going to go ahead and actually share that. So it's dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, and that's the acronym is DOSE. And so the idea is, guys, is that you want to be able to move your relationship. To be able to do this, you're gonna have to be able to trigger the right ones for her, because she's got a specific, cocktail. There's what she needs specifically, and it's been missing inside your relationship. So what is she doing? She's going out there to find it somewhere else. Now, some of you are dealing with this because your partner is dealing with what we call a change of life. Okay. What I mean by that is, it's what they call kind of like a midlife crisis or something like that. And so what happens is, like, even hormonally, not just a woman, but a man as well, there are shifts in the hormonal levels, and then you don't feel good anymore. So what do? You try to adjust those levels. What do? You go out there and buy that fast car. You go out there and seek out another person. You start working out, take on a new hobby, do something, shift your job, whatever it may be. That's the change of life, because you think something's wrong. Now, here's what's also happening to you when you have somebody who's in a change of life. They're also looking right at you. They're trying to figure out what's wrong with their lives. And now they're looking at you, and they're thinking that you got to be it because you're the only thing that's around, that that one stable thing that's around. Do you understand that? So they may associate you with what's not feeling good for them. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So sometimes it has absolutely zero to do with you. Sometimes. It just means that what I mean by that, you can still be responsible for making sure that you still got to trigger those happy hormones, because now they need something. They need that thing. So they're going to go medicate. They're going to self-medicate is the way that it works. And so, Shawn, that's kind of where you are. So she's seeking out something. That's what it is. She doesn't feel good in her own skin. She doesn't feel good for herself. And so what she's trying to figure out is can she do that with you? Now, you showing her my videos ain't going to help you, unfortunately. All right, shameless plug. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go to follow me on Instagram, Mario Real. All right, and you can see lots of videos there where I just give straight talk. I straight talk you and tell you some of the things that you just, may not know about the way that we're programmed. Men and women are programmed that may shift your relationship, and you say, oh, I need to go to work on this area. Okay. But anyway, the bottom line is that's where we are, Shawn, and that's what I know for sure. So she came back because she's like, I still don't feel good. And at least I felt good with you. And then at some point, and then she tries to work on the relationship, but you're trying to hit her here in the neocortex. You're trying to make it make sense. So you're sending her videos about what you guys should work on. Does that make sense? Yeah. You don't do that because this doesn't make the decisions. This does. So this is the neocortex. It only processes information. It's logical. It's the logical center of human being. Right? It's what we call the conscious mind. This, I'm pointing to the body because the limbic system's all over your body, right? It's a subconscious, where the subconscious is housed. How do we know that? Because think about it. When you feel butterflies, where do you feel it? You don't feel it in your head. You feel it in your body, right? You feel butterflies in your stomach. You feel tightness in your chest. You feel goosebumps, right? Because it's all over your subconscious experience. That psychosomatic response is all over your body. That's where your feeling base is. That's what actually makes all the decisions. And then what happens is your conscious mind comes up with why they want out. They start looking for excuses. How many of you got a partner who's making excuses? Right? Yeah, right. And it seems like some of these, you're like, you never told me that. 20 years, you never told me that. And now you're saying you were never happy, Or you tell now you got an issue here and I never knew that before, because they're making it up. They're trying to figure out why they don't feel good inside of their own skin. This is what's happening. And so the idea is that Shawn, in this moment, guys, was trying to make it make sense here logically. Hey, we need to work on this together. That ain't going to move the relationship. What's going to move the relationship is this. He's got to trigger those happy hormones, because that's what he did in the beginning. He didn't convince her. He didn't look at her resume. He didn't send out a resume to her at the beginning of the relationship and say, hey, take a look at it. I tick all the boxes, baby. I'm the one. That didn't happen. He was triggering the happy hormones and making her feel good is what happened. Does that make sense? And so we got to do that again, Shawn, is the bottom line. Except this time we got to really figure out what's missing for her and be able to put it in. That's what's going to make a difference. Okay. This is where the game change is going to be. Now, the good thing is that the AP, the affair, we call it an AP, the affair partner's out of the picture. That's what I'm understanding. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. That's fantastic. And we have communication. We have communication with her right now.
I see her every day. I own a business with her.
I love it. That's fantastic. All right.
It's,
so good.
It's a double-edged sword. I love that I get to see her, but it kills me every day to know where we're at, and I can't touch her. It's not my wife right now.
It's okay. We just need proximity. And when I say proximity, I don't mean that you have to be geographically close. I mean that you have to be able to have some kind of interaction. Does that make sense, everyone? If we can do that, then we can move the relationship. So now that we have an idea of what's going on, number one, we know that we got to pull the stress, and now we got to trigger the happy hormones. We just got to figure out which ones and the actions that we're going to take that are actually going to move the relationship and do that. Actually, I want to share one quick video with you guys, and it's with someone. Her name is, who worked with me, and she actually gave me a testimonial. She was looking for divorce attorneys when she found me, and that's what she did. Her husband was actually for a year and a half seeing another person who was working in their company, actually. All right. And he wouldn't let go of her. And he kept on staying with that person over and over again, and said, hey, but I need her for the company. That's why I got to stay with her. And so she wanted out of the relationship, but she just kept on pushing through. And actually, she used what I'm telling you to use right now, Shawn, that you're going to have to, that's going to move the relationship. And so guys, just kind of watch this video real quick. And I'm going to play this video, and then I'm going to come right back, Shawn, and then we're going to talk about what you need to do to move things. Okay. But know that there's hope, dude. You're actually not in a bad place if you know what to do. Does that make sense?
Divorce is on the table, but yep.
Yeah, of course. I know divorce is on the table. It's very clear that divorce is on the table. But what I'm saying is, it's like you go to the doctor. I had an infection, guys, and without proper antibiotics, I would die. I would have died, right? Is the reality. However, thank God that they have proper antibiotics. When the antibiotics, it's small change for them. It was easy for the doctors to be able to deal with it. Does that make sense? So if you know what you're doing and you have the right tools, you can shift your relationship. And that's what you need to know more than anything else. Okay. And so anyway, watch this quick video. And this is from Nicole.
Yeah, because there was a woman in his life, in a working relationship for 5 years that he had been betraying me with for about a year and a half. And she worked very closely with him. And I said, well, you can't work with her anymore. Like, if we're going to work on this, you cannot have contact with her anymore. Yeah. You cannot interact with her anymore. You cannot do projects with her anymore. He said, no, I'm not willing to do that. That is not going to happen. I'm just going to control my mind and my heart and my actions, but I'm not willing to not have her in my life. Mm-hmm. And then I said, well, then you can't have me in your life. And then that's when I started looking for divorce attorneys, and we were fighting a lot, and it was ugly. And that's when Mario's video popped up, and I clicked on it. And when you and I spoke, then you gave me hope. You gave me hope. I told you all the garbage, all the trash, all the tears. And I remember you telling me that it would be intense. There would need to be a lot of, like, I would need to put in the work and I would need to take the actions, but that you would be able to guide me step by step on what I could do and how it could be saved. And so I jumped in and it worked. Within 3 weeks, she was completely out of his life entirely. And now it's been 2 months, and he, so another place where he would go to pick up girls was the gym. And now he wakes me up in the morning with kisses, begging me to go to the gym with him. And he loves his dopamine. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, we had been going out to dinner consistently, but we kept going to the same places. And so I was like, no, let's try out this different place. Or we haven't been to that place for a long time. He's like, whoa, this is so exciting. And when we were going for a walk, I'm like, why don't we drive to the next neighborhood and go walk there? And why don't we take a different road? And we did all these things. It's like, oh, everything is so fresh and exciting.
Wow. And you know what? You're actually right, because it was that. Maybe it's dopamine, alleviation of stress as a primary. That's what it sounds like. Is that what you have?
Yeah.
Nicole, you really did execute so well. So it's like, it's extraordinary. Do you feel like a master? I dub you marriage master right now. You are hereby dubbed master. Fantastic. All right. So what, if you wanted to like leave us with something, so congratulations, first and foremost.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing the work. And
it's all keys from the program, right? I didn't make anything up. I just rewatched the videos multiple times until it got into my thick skull.
you're brilliant. Yeah, you're brilliant. So if you were to say, so like, if you want to leave people with, what do you want to leave people, these wonderful people with who we get to talk to? What would you leave them with right now?
No matter how hopeless it feels, and like my case felt really hopeless, if there's any bit of you that still wants to make it work, even if your partner is not there at all, you have the power to create the relationship of your dreams.
Wow.
Beautiful story. Like, I hope that gives some of you some hope. Did that give you guys some hope? Like, I mean, really, she's wonderful, man. Her story, they got 5 kids. I mean, she was invested in their relationship, really, and she felt like she had no other way out. Now, this is where you're at, Shawn. You're in the same exact place, right? She tried to convince him. It didn't work out. The convincing wasn't going to move the relationship. She had to trigger those happy hormones, and that's what's missing for you in your relationship. Something tells me that your partner is a serotonin, and we'd talk about what that looks like. But she's missing something, and that's why she's self-medicating by getting with other people. She thinks that that's going to be how she's going to feel better about herself. Now, guys, everybody, your partner is dealing with this on some level or the other. Now, some of you, what you're doing is that you're actually stressing your partner out. You don't know that you're doing it, and it's actually pushing them away. It doesn't occur like that's what Shawn's doing, okay? Although Shawn probably has some triggers that are stressing her out and pushing her away. We're going to have to deal with those, but mostly it really occurs like she's dealing with some deficiency inside of not feeling good where she is. And guys, you can't convince somebody about that. That's not something, you can't convince them to be happy with you. You can't convince them to want to be with you, but you can trigger those things. You can trigger that in them. That really leaves them feeling good about themselves. That's what it wants to be. And that's exactly what needs to happen here, Shawn, is the bottom line. So I'll put it this way. Your situation is actually kind of perfect for our program, is what I want to say. Just the way that she's back and forth. She's actually in what we call flux right now. She's in flux. She doesn't know what she wants. She's just trying to figure out how to feel better about herself. That's what she's trying to do. Can you guys hear that? Is that clear for everybody? Like, and so what it is it ain't even personal. What she's doing is 100% not personal against you. It's just like we're all trying to self-medicate. What makes Mario be on this call right now is because it makes me feel good to make a difference for people. That's how I self-medicate. That's what makes me be here, right, is the bottom line. And she's self-medicating in the way that she's self-medicating right now, obviously ineffectively, which is why she keeps going back and forth. Okay? So what we got to do is we got to figure out what exactly is missing for her specifically and put it in. For you, it's not. Mostly for most people I talk to, there's detoxification that has to go into the relationship. You have to detoxify as well, because there's always, after all those years, you've got stuff, right, is the bottom line. But we're going to have to move those things out. But mostly it doesn't occur like that's the real thing. The real thing is that she doesn't feel like she's in love with you because she doesn't feel good when she's around you anymore. But she doesn't feel good when she's about herself either, by the way. She doesn't feel good. That's the thing. So we're going to bring that back, and we can create that. You just have to now work on just really, you're just a textbook case of someone whose has a deficiency in dose. Does that make sense what I'm saying, Shawn?
It does. It's you literally could be on my shoulder. You're telling the situation, and it's hard for me to. I'm taking it personal, and I'm trying not to, and I'm trying to do all the right things, and I've recognized it's all the wrong things. And every time I've gone to dive into this program, she's coming back. I'm like, yes, I don't need it. And it's just gotten to, I can't take the roller coaster anymore, so I got to pull the trigger.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, bro. But listen, this is it. You've got to. So now, guys, one of the things that we just have to do is we got to execute, right? And though it doesn't look the way that you want it to, sometimes if you're triggering that dose consistently, you're bringing her up, and that's why you can't listen to what they're saying. You actually have to look for what we call IOIs, which are indicators of interest. All right, you got to look for those indicators of interest, Shawn. That's what's going to move the needle here, and figuring out, okay, how are we dosing her? How are we actually triggering that happy hormone in her? That's what it wants to be more than anything else. If we can figure out how to dose her properly, then that's what you want to do. So I want you to now focus on that specifically. I do want to talk to you. Offline though, kind of direct you a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So just put your information in there, and then we're going to look at what it's going to take to kind of move this relationship forward.
Send it to you or to
faster.
admin?
Just send it to admin. Do me a favor, send it to admin. Right. And so let's see what it's going to take to actually move this relationship forward faster, because you just got to trigger the happy hormone is really what you got to do. Guys, you cannot convince your partner to be with you. That's not it. But you can trigger it in them. That's what you did in the beginning. You triggered a desire, attraction. You triggered that connection. You triggered that desire to move beyond the past. Does that make sense? You did that. Whatever there is, you've done it throughout your relationship, and you can do it again, 100%. All right, guys, give it up for Shawn. All right, Shawn, we're going to talk offline. All right.
Thank you, Mario.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.